Thanks for joining us, Wilm. For those who don't know, just tell us a little bit about the company and the strategy.
ecoPARKS is a long-term real estate developer which is specialized on industrial logistic buildings. We found ecoPARKS 2 years ago. The strategy is that we really see that there's a big demand and requirement to bring sustainability more into the asset class of logistic and industrial buildings. We see it from a technology point and innovation point. It's really the time of doing it now and not waiting for tomorrow. And that's what why we founded ecoPARK, to say that we become a new player in the market that really pushes forward to set up a new standard of sustainability in this asset class.
And you've obviously been in the market for 15 years. How have you seen demand change in this period, particularly in terms of more sustainable logistics real estate?
Of course, we have all experienced in the last, let's say, 5 years maybe, that this, in terms of corporate responsibility reports, has been coming onto the agenda. There has been a change in the last 2 years, so there are more sustainable impact criteria, technologies implemented, but still we see that there can be quite more braveness, because really from the technology point of view, or the status of innovation, there's much more possible today, because at the end we all have to deliver a market price base to the customers. So this is always, it's really the link, bringing economical and ecological things to a perfect match, which still gives, let's say, potential our clients, our tenants, rental space that they can afford, but still with a really substantial, sustainable structure behind it.
And you mentioned the tenants there, Wilm. How can investors and occupiers meet the new sustainability goals, particularly when we're looking at new construction?
Very often the location itself demands more than this monoculture of views. And when I worked for VGP, we have been really in discussions with mayors across the country, because I also did the business development for the company. And most communities want, let's say, a more mixed use of their land. So we think about concepts that are proof, that can prove long term for the location that they are developed, that they bring in, let's say, value add for the surroundings where we develop. That's the start. And we are looking for really flexibility. So there are interruptive business models that need to be answered today, but it will change tomorrow. So flexibility is really a big issue as well. And then, of course, how from investor side or user side, how can this be today pushed forward in terms of sustainable production and use of these assets? And it starts with the building itself. So our first ecoPARK that we delivered actually in January this year has a full wooden structure. So all beams, columns, etc. of the warehouse, but also the office and welfare building, which has roughly 1,200 square meters, is a full wooden structure. And it's no news that really wood is the only CO2 positive building material that you can implement. We made the client happy when he realized what kind of building he will be able to occupy. So he was seeing, in terms of recruitment, to get, I mean, that's one big topic we all struggle with, at least in Europe. How do we recruit new talents? And then we had the second point, and it's the question, what in terms of operation? And this means that we don't have any fossil-based operation like heating or cooling of a building. And of course, in the last couple of years where we had this energy crisis coming up to an extreme point, the client again was happy that he wasn't linked, or he wasn't bound to a fossil-based operation of his building.
Very interesting to catch up, Wilm, and thanks very much for joining us.